The street fair hums with vibrant energy and lively chatter. The sound of bells resonates from the game booths. The air is thick with the tantalizing aroma of sizzling grease from the food stalls. Vendors call out, their voices rising to attract the throngs. Individuals chuckle and meander through the humid coastal atmosphere. In an instant, a piercing scream slices through the air. Sarah, a devoted mother, clutches a weathered photograph of her son, Tim. She weeps with great intensity. He possessed a vibrant red balloon. Though her voice trembles, the raucous crowd remains oblivious to her suffering. Her urgent cries dissolve amidst the din of conversation. By a weathered stall, Jason Statham looms large. Her shattered cry reaches his ears. His gaze catches an unusual sight. A crimson balloon drifts gracefully above a dimly lit alleyway. The frayed string dances lightly in the wind. The joyous melodies of the fair twist into something eerie and unsettling. An unsettling aura lingers in the air. Statham advances, his expression steely with concentration. A dark force snatched Tim from our lives. The balloon appears to murmur a chilling secret. What captivated Tim amidst the bustling fair? Will Statham, resilient and astute, uncover the truth before time runs out? Before we dive in, be sure to like and subscribe to experience Jason Statham's thrilling action mystery tale, and share where you're tuning in from today. The street fair erupts in a cacophony of untamed energy. Yet, an unsettling, shadowy sensation creeps in. The rickety wooden stalls groan under the weight of an array of inexpensive toys and glimmering trinkets. Foghorns wail slowly and deeply from the misty coast, their mournful sounds slicing through the thick, humid air. Rusty chains rattle as ancient rides shudder and creak, emitting showers of sparks. The aroma assaults the senses. Caramelized sweetness mingles with the savory scent of fried patties, all underscored by the briny decay wafting in from the adjacent docks. Shadows dance upon the earth, quick and restless, as if an unseen menace lurks in the depths of the night. Jason Statham, a hardened former Special Forces operative now turned private investigator, navigates swiftly through the throng of people. With each step, his heavy boots crush the gravel into fine dust. A prominent scar on his knuckles catches the faint glow of the fair's dim lights, a testament to the battles he has fought and triumphed over. Once, he endured the heart-wrenching loss of a sibling, a visceral ache that lingers eternally. The pain propels him forward, igniting a fierce determination to rescue children like Tim, come what may. Sarah's cries for her lost son pierced the cacophony of the fair, sharp and heart-wrenching. Her hands tremble violently, grasping a frayed photograph of Tim, his youthful face beaming with joy. Her voice carries a roughness, a testament to the countless times it has been raised in fervent expression. "Please, find my boy," she pleads, her eyes glistening with tears, red and swollen. Statham looms nearby, his expression as unyielding as granite. Her pain strikes him profoundly, reminiscent of an ancient scar torn anew. He nods, a quick, decisive motion, his eyes alight with an unspoken vow. He stands poised to confront any deceiver or brute that stands in the way of reclaiming Tim. The cheerful hum of the fair now seems unsettling, as if a facade conceals a deeper decay beneath. Statham's muscles coiled, poised for battle. He pushes his way through the throng, his sturdy shoulders parting the sea of bodies. Individuals swiftly part ways, acutely aware of his formidable presence. He halts at a dilapidated stall, where a gaunt vendor peddles imitation jewelry. Statham draws near, his tone hushed and menacing. A child stands there, clutching a vibrant red balloon. He lets out a low growl. The vendor's gaze flits to the side, beads of sweat forming on his ashen complexion. Statham seizes his collar, pulling him sharply forward. "Speak swiftly." He breaks suddenly. The man falters, his speech a tangled mess, yet offers no valuable insight. Statham releases his grip, leaving the man trembling. Close by, Vince, the fair's smooth-talking organizer, observes with a cunning smile. His voice slithers forth, slick yet piercing, reminiscent of a serpent. "Have you misplaced your sharpness, warrior?" He mocks, his gaze shimmering with hidden truths. Statham's piercing glare silences him instantly, yet Vince's grin lingers, concealing a darker intent. A cloaked silhouette glides among the throng, swift and silent. His breath escapes in a raspy whisper, reminiscent of a sickly cough, as he dissolves into the shadows of a narrow alley. Statham's gaze fixes on him, an instinctive warning echoing in his core. The fair's lights flicker and falter, throwing sharp shadows that writhe like talons. The atmosphere thickens, laden with a pungent odor. Each creak, each clank, resonates as a foreboding signal. Statham's fists tighten, veins bulging beneath his skin. He presses on, disregarding the hollow merriment of the fair. This location ensnares, a grim tapestry concealing Tim's destiny. Sarah's shattered cries reverberate in his mind, intertwining with recollections of his own grief. He shall not disappoint her. He will tear through each stall, dismantle every deception, and confront every thug in this wretched fair to locate Tim. No one can hinder his path, neither Vince nor the shadowy figure, nor the sinister core of the fair itself. Statham is a tempest, and he is on a relentless quest for the truth. The fair unfolds in a whirlwind of noise, where vendors shout and rides clatter in a cacophony of excitement. The sea breeze wails through the briny atmosphere, tinged with the scent of decaying fish. The stalls groan, splintering beneath the weight of forgotten treasures. Shadows dance erratically on the ground, resembling fingers reaching out for hidden truths. With determination etched on his face, Jason Statham plunges into the pursuit of Tim, his boots pounding against the gravel, each stride a vow to obliterate anyone who dared to take the boy. Sarah's words sear into his consciousness. She claimed Tim adored his blue toy car. He requires answers urgently. With a firm grip on the greasy vendor's shirt, he speaks in a voice that rumbles like distant thunder. A child clutches a vibrant red balloon. Where could he be? His eyes flicker anxiously, beads of sweat cascading down his brow. Yet he utters a stream of incoherent words. Statham pushes him away, sending a tray of inexpensive rings tumbling to the ground, where they scatter with a metallic clink. The crowd hums with anticipation, their murmurs cutting through the air, yet Statham remains unfazed. He is a relentless force, engineered to shatter deception. He catches sight of a hooded figure weaving through the stalls, the cloak fluttering like a bat in flight. Statham races after him, boots thundering against the ground, the sea wind howling in his ears. He glides through the maze of crates, narrowly avoiding a bottle hurled in his direction, its impact resonating as it shatters on the ground, glass crunching beneath him. The figure darts into an alley, breath coming in ragged gasps, yet Statham is quicker. With a swift motion, he overturns a stall table, the wood cracking as it obstructs the way. The figure falters, and Statham seizes his arm, twisting it with force. Let's discuss the child. He breaks suddenly. The man gasps for breath, failing to release a single drop, prompting Statham to allow him to escape, fully aware that he will pursue him later. By the side of a locked shed, Statham's gaze is drawn to something intriguing. Tim's blue toy car, its wheels encrusted with mud, lies half-buried by the alley fence, where the red balloon dances gently in the breeze. His stomach churns. Indeed, Sarah was correct. This is not mere happenstance. Statham kneels, his fingers gliding over the car's icy metal surface. The fair's lights dance erratically, creating sharp silhouettes that dart across the ground. He surveys the throng and catches the gaze of Vince, the slick organizer of the fair. Vince glides over, his cunning smile reminiscent of a serpent's. An aged warrior, pursuing phantoms? He mocks, his voice sleek yet sharp. He strikes at Statham's suffering. You weren't able to save your sibling, were you? Statham's fists tighten, veins prominently etched beneath his skin. He approaches, looming over Vince, his gaze ablaze with intensity. Continue speaking, and you will come to regret it, he growls. Vince's smile wavers, his eyes flickering with uncertainty. He murmurs his grievances regarding the night deliveries, then pivots abruptly, as if eager to escape. Statham detects a falsehood. Vince possesses a secret, and Statham is determined to extract it from him, no matter the cost. He pivots towards the shed, where the rusty lock catches the light of a flickering bulb. The clamor of the fare diminishes, giving way to a subtle murmur, akin to the breath of impending peril. Statham drives the blade into the lock, the metal grating against itself, until a satisfying click signals its release. Within, the atmosphere is thick with the pungent scent of oil and the gritty residue of dust. He scours swiftly, fingers tearing through crates, until he uncovers a crumpled receipt. It states, "Pier drop midnight." His heart quickens. This is not an ordinary fare exchange. Trafficking could potentially be more severe. Statham clutches the paper, the words searing into his very being. Tim is out there, and this clue reveals a grim, unsettling reality. He bursts through the door, the shed's entrance crashing shut behind him, poised to dismantle the pier piece by piece. The festivity's decayed core is revealing itself, and Statham is poised to tear it apart. The fare's sinister core throbs beneath its dancing lights, yet Statham's pursuit of Tim ignites with greater intensity. The enigmatic receipt, "Pier drop, midnight," clenches his fist, its phrases a guide to something sinister. The coastal night suffocates under a heavy blanket of fog, thick and acrid, as he strides toward the pier. The waves crash relentlessly against the decaying docks, their cadence a somber percussion. The floorboards protest beneath his feet, each stride imbued with intent. Gulls cry out above, their shrill calls cutting through the fog like ominous alerts. Statham's breath billows in the frigid air, his gaze fixed on the pier's terminus, where shadows writhe as if animated by an unseen force. The cacophony of the fare dwindles, giving way to a haunting, subdued resonance, the metallic clinking of chains and the creaking of ropes straining against their weathered moorings. He stands solitary, yet the stillness will not endure. 3 armed thugs linger, their imposing figures casting shadows in the misty light of a solitary lamp. Statham's instincts howl of peril, yet the visage of Tim, captured in Sarah's shredded photograph, propels him onward. He hunches low behind a pile of pungent barrels, the acrid scent of brine and rot assaulting his senses. The receipt's pier drop hint beckons him to this place, yet he finds himself yearning for something more. A figure looms, boots scuffing against the wooden floor, murmuring into a radio. Statham hears Vince's slick voice crackling through the air. "Ensure the child is secured firmly." His blood seethes with fury. Vince transcends the role of a mere sleazy organizer. He is deeply immersed in this. Statham advances, a specter in the shadows, his battle-worn knuckles taut with anticipation. The thug's phone sparkles in his grip, its screen radiating light. Statham requires that phone. He leaps forward, a whirlwind of strength, bringing the thug crashing down onto the dock. The planks groan and splinter beneath their weight, the sound echoing sharply through the thick fog. The brute growls, the blade rasping as it arcs through the air. Statham evades, his arms slicing through the air to deflect the blade, metal gliding into the shadows. He grapples with the phone, securing the thug's wrist until a sharp crack echoes in the air. The man lets out a yelp, yet Statham's knee crashes into his chest, rendering him silent. The screen illuminates, revealing Tim's photo, wide-eyed and marked with the label "Warehouse, Lot 7. Statham's heart races, a network of trafficking far beyond the disappearance of a child. The phone's case bears scratches, marked by the initials of Vince, intertwined with the essence of VR. This is monumental, a tangled web of deceit extending far beyond the surface. The remaining 2 thugs rush forward, their boots pounding against the ground, one brandishing a chain while the other wields a pipe. With a swift motion, Statham evades the sharp whistle of the chain, delivering a powerful kick to the barrel. Tumbles, oil splattering, sending the pipe wielder sprawling. The dock trembles, waves lapping beneath. He swings from a mooring rope, his boots colliding with the chain thug's jaw, a sharp crack of teeth echoing in the air. The gulls let out a cacophony of screeches, startled by the tumult around them. A solitary dockworker, laboring with crates in the vicinity, inhales sharply, his breath momentarily stilled, yet Statham's concentration remains unwavering. He descends, fists unleashed, each strike resonating with a muted impact against skin. The pipe thug lunges upward, weapon in hand, but Statham swiftly seizes a crate, bringing it crashing down upon the man's skull. With splinters cascade like shards of shattered dreams, Statham seizes the radio, Vince's voice crackling through. Finish him! The intricate web of deception begins to unravel. Vince orchestrates this operation, with Tim merely a player among the multitude. Statham's fury ignites. With a swift motion, he lifts the chain thug, forcefully driving him against the sturdy piling. Could you please tell me the location of the warehouse? He growls, his voice rough and gritty. The thug gasps, eyes bulging, sputtering. Lot 7, North End. Statham delivers a decisive blow, the man collapsing to the ground, the waves roaring as though in applause. He inspects a nearby crate, tearing off its lid with a harsh screech of nails. Within, counterfeit playthings conceal a roster, identities, years, locations of descent. At the pinnacle, Tim's name blazes with intensity. This is not a trivial offense. It is a mechanism, frigid and expansive. Statham's thoughts whirl, yet his body propels forward with unmatched speed. He ascends a weathered crane, the chains clattering, seeking the warehouse's dim light piercing through the mist. The pier's creaks diminish, overtaken by the sound of his labored breaths. Each exhale a solemn promise to bring this to a close. The confrontation renders the dockworker motionless, his breath caught in the enveloping fog. The tides crash with greater ferocity, a tempest on the horizon. Statham's boots struck the pavement, sending droplets flying, as he raced toward Lot 7. The photograph of Tim, appearing frightened and diminutive, ignites a fire within him. Vince's ring looms larger than he ever imagined, yet Statham is poised to dismantle it, bit by sordid bit. The warehouse stands ominously, a shadowy creature in the darkness, concealing Tim and perhaps others within its depths. Every moment is crucial, and Statham is poised to break through the depths of chaos to reach his destination. The fog envelopes the coastal night, thick with salt and an air of danger, as Jason Statham races toward Lot 7. The warehouse stands before me, a decaying giant lurking in the shadows, its sharp outline devouring the dim light of a solitary bulb. Chains hang from the ceiling, swaying in the breeze, their haunting clinks intertwining with the groans of aging beams and the rhythmic lapping of waves against the nearby docks. Statham's boots plunge into the slick, oily puddles, his breath labored, each exhale a solemn promise to rescue Tim. The thug's phone, ablaze with Tim's terrified visage and Vince's initials, ignites his fury. This trafficking ring meets its end tonight. With a stolen wrench clutched tightly in his hand, his knuckles pale and tense, he stands poised to break through the very gates of hell. The warehouse doors stand ajar, a dark abyss releasing a breath of musty air and foreboding. Statham bursts through the entrance, his silhouette stretching ominously, ready to shatter the fair's wicked trap with his powerful blows. Within, the atmosphere is heavy with the acrid scent of rust and diesel, saturated with the decay of the coast. Oil drums stand sentinel along the walls, their battered surfaces shimmering beneath the erratic glow of flickering lights. For thugs roam the area, their boots scraping against the concrete, the sharp sound of rifles being loaded punctuating the silence. Lena, Vince's astute accomplice, commands the catwalk, her piercing voice reverberating from the pier's radio, now alive with a venomous edge. "You can't save them all," she taunts, her dark ponytail swaying as she steadies the pistol in her grip. Statham's gaze sharpens as it falls upon a glimmering wire, tautly strung across a crate, poised to detonate. His instincts, honed through years of special forces training, surge to the forefront. He plunges into the depths, the wrench grating against metal as he severs the wire, the crate's subtle resonance fading into silence. A goon unleashes a barrage, gunfire erupting like thunder, bullets ricocheting off drums. Statham maneuvers deftly, evading a descending beam that descends with a thunderous crash, splintered with scattering in all directions. The sound of his labored breaths permeates the atmosphere, unwavering amidst the turmoil. He lunges ahead, the wrench arcing through the air, shattering a goon's jaw with a sickening crack. The man falls, his rifle clattering to the ground. Another assailant lunges, knife glinting, its edge grazing Statham's arm. With a swift motion, he twists, applying a chokehold that silences the goon's gasp, the sound of bones cracking echoing in the air. Chains overhead swing wildly, their screeches piercing the din. Lena laughs, cold and sharp, firing again. Statham crouches behind a drum, oil sloshing around him, and launches a rusted pipe with precision. It crashes against her catwalk railing, the metal ringing out, compelling her to falter. The third goon charges forward, brandishing a crowbar with reckless abandon. Statham deftly sidesteps, delivering a swift kick to an oil drum that rolls forward, sending the man tumbling to the ground. He seizes the dangling chain, swinging it with force, his boots crashing into the goon's chest. The fourth lunges forward, yet Statham's wrench meets him with a brutal force, shattering his skull and sending blood splattering across the concrete. The warehouse emits a low groan, its beams creaking as if they were the timbers of a ship succumbing to the sea, the air heavy with dust and a hint of salt. Lena descends with a determined grace, her boots striking the ground with purpose, her pistol held aloft. Vince was correct. You are indeed a fool, she hisses, connecting her to the festering heart of the fair. Statham lunges forward, evading her shot as the bullet ricochets off a beam, sending sparks flying. He lunges at her, securing her arm in a firm grip, her taunts faltering as he twists her wrist with precision. Where has Tim gone? He growls, his voice rough and gritty. Lena expels a sharp spit. You've reached the end of the line in that back corner of the crate. Statham forcefully drives her head into the drum, rendering her unconscious. Amidst the chaos of their clash, her confession emerges, unbidden. She and Vince orchestrated the trafficking ring, abducting children like Tim for their own gain. The phone's photo merely a fragment of their twisted scheme. The enigma unravels, revealing the true nature of Vince's dominion. Statham races to the rear, his heart thundering in his chest, eyes locking onto a weathered crate secured by a ticking timer, crimson digits counting down from 10. Tim's soft whimpers escape, fragile and filled with fear. With a determined grip, Statham forces the lock open using his wrench, the metal protesting with a harsh screech as sparks dance in the air, all while the timer counts down relentlessly. The beams overhead creak ominously, the warehouse trembling, on the brink of collapse. With a sudden surge of urgency, he tears the crate apart just in time, the lock giving way with a sharp crack. Tim crouches within the confines, his eyes wide with fear, his face drained of color. Rise and shine, young one, Statham growls, his voice rough yet unwavering. He lifts Tim into his arms, the boy's tiny hands gripping his jacket tightly. The warehouse shudders, a beam collapsing in their wake, wood fracturing, dust suffocating the atmosphere. Statham sprints, evading the cascading rubble, chains rattling wildly. He bursts through the door, the briny breeze slapping against his skin, propelling Tim towards safety as the warehouse groans, its thunderous clamor dissipating into the darkness. The warehouse crumbles in a cacophony behind Jason Statham, its fading roar consumed by the darkness of the coastal night. Tim grips his jacket tightly, his small hands trembling, while the sound of Statham's boots echoes through the slick, oily puddles. The briny breeze nips at the skin, heavy with mist and the subtle scent of decay. The waves pound fiercely against the docks, their wild rhythm echoing through the air, as distant gulls cry out like spectral apparitions. Statham's breath billows in the cold air, his jaw set in a determined line, the burden of Tim's rescue pressing down on him with an intensity that is both daunting and resolute. The fair's lights shimmer dimly in the distance, a somber echo of its decayed essence. Wailing sirens pierce the air, sharp and near, slicing through the enveloping mist. Police cars come to a sudden stop, their red and blue lights cutting through the darkness like blades. Statham advances with purpose, Tim cradled in his arms, poised to bring this nightmare to a close. The fragmented image of Sarah's boy smolders in his memory, her cries from the fair now echoed back. At the pier's edge, Sarah stands, her tear-streaked face ghostly beneath the glow of the street lamp. She catches sight of Tim and exclaims, "You saved him!" Her voice trembles, laden with the weight of relief. She sprints, faltering, her hands quaking as she extends them toward her son. Statham gently places Tim on the ground, the boy's unsteady voice barely above a whisper, "Mom," as he holds her firmly. Their embrace is frantic, a tangle of anxiety unraveled. Statham's jaw clenches, his gaze darting to Tim's diminutive figure. The boy's terrified expression ignites a memory of his lost sibling, a pain he conceals within. He retreats slightly, a curt nod punctuating his demeanor, his hardened exterior intact. Reporters converge, their cameras snapping, voices chattering. Statham pushes one aside, his growl deep and menacing. "Step away." The throng divides, acutely aware of his fervor. He pivots towards a stout officer, flinging the crimson-stained wrench with a metallic thud. "It is done," he declares, his voice rough as gravel, gesturing toward Lena, who is cuffed and slumped in the back of a squad car. The photograph, bearing Vince's initials, alongside Lena's confessions in the heat of battle, irrevocably determined their destiny. Officers flood the fairgrounds, their voices piercing the air as they secure Vince in handcuffs. His once confident smirk vanished, replaced by a look of sheer terror. The trafficking ring collapses, as the arrests of Vince and Lena ignite a series of raids on fairs along the coast. Officers uncover concealed crates, liberating other children, their names aligning with the list on the phone. Word travels swiftly, the community feels more secure, and parents exhale with relief. Statham's efforts tore the sinister core of the fair asunder, extinguishing its nefarious commerce. He gestures sharply towards the debris of the warehouse, his commands clear and devoid of any frivolity. The fair stalls rest in silence, their creaks diminishing as vendors begin to gather their wares. Statham strides away, his boots crunching on the gravel, the sound piercing through the soft murmur of the night. The waves crash ceaselessly, a relentless rhythm, as distant gulls cry out, their voices faintly piercing the thick fog. The fair's lights fade, extinguishing its artificial merriment. Statham's hands flex, the scars on his knuckles glinting in the soft light of the moon. Tim is secure, yet the specter of his sibling remains, a silent sorrow he refrains from expressing. He pushes it down, his pace unwavering, not a backward glance. Questions are hurled by reporters, yet he remains unresponsive, a solitary silhouette navigating the fog. The town will mend, the fairs will tidy up, yet Statham's struggle endures endlessly. His boots dissolve into the shadows, the crunch of gravel intertwining with the tumultuous roar of the sea, a lasting testament to his indomitable spirit.